Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Oh, this is Ms. Lopez. Ms. Lopez, if you would just have a seat right there, please. And Ms. Wakefield, and if you'll stay standing right there. Ms. Wakefield, if you'll activate your video, please, and your audio.
Yes, sir.
Very good. And Ms. Lopez is now in the courtroom. I'm going to have you both raise your right hands for me. Swear the testimony in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. I do.
Okay, let me have a seat. Go ahead and have a seat.
Okay.
And pull that with the red light on it. That's your microphone. If you pull.
Yeah, I'm trying to turn this Zoom call off.
Yes, please do that. And if you'll pull that microphone towards you a bit. Good. Ms. Lopez, I want you to say something, make sure that Ms. Wakefield can hear you.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Okay, thank you. Right. Ms. Wakefield, you indicate that Ms. Lopez is or has been a partner of your ex-husband, that on the 20th of September, she was driving your ex-husband's truck and you believed was following you, potentially coming close to causing an accident. And that prior to that, back in January, she had messaged you and sent you derogatory statements and mentioned things to your children about, and not quite your intimate relations between you and your ex-husband. And I don't know if Ms. Lopez was part of that or not. I can't tell from the way this is written.
Yes, that is correct. On top of messaging another one of my children, asking the whereabouts of her father when Janaea Lopez was not able to get a hold of him.
Okay. All right. So I've sort of summarized what you have in here. Is there anything else you want to add at this point?
Well, yes, on top of the asking the whereabouts of their father, the derogatory messages to myself, she also sent that message that she sent me in January to one of my best friends, which included a nude photo of myself and a sex video of her and my ex-husband. She, as the children state, of course, I'm not in the home, but she is very inappropriate with my son, inappropriate touching. She targets my 13-year-old. Per my 13-year-old's statement to me, she has it out to make her life a living hell. And she put all of us in danger and almost hit us because she wanted to see who was in my car when she was stalking either my ex-husband, me, both. I'm not sure, but me and my children are pretty done having to deal with her unstableness and that she's a loose cannon, because that's not normal and it's not acceptable. And we've been on a roller coaster ride with this woman for too long and we're ready to get off.
Okay. So for the record, the derogatory statements were specifically what?
The huge 5-paragraph message that was sent in January. There's been quite a few. She also called me quite a few choice words in the presence of my children. But the derogatory message back in January attacked me as a person in general. I'm a horrible mother. I can pull it up.
Okay. Yeah, I don't need to get into that so much. Were there threats in there, or it was just a derogatory message in a variety of ways?
Derogatory message in a variety of ways.
Okay. And your children are Thomas, Brooklyn, and Mackenzie?
Tomas, but yes, correct.
Tomas. Okay. And they are all three your children.
Correct.
And do they, what's the custodial status with those children between you and your ex-husband?
We share 50-50 is our current agreement.
And as part of your request, you're asking me to order Ms. Lopez to have no contact with your children. Is that right?
That is correct. With the ongoing circumstances and then it finally ending and her putting all of us in danger, that is what I'm asking. And my children have asked to not be around her.
And is it your understanding that Ms. Lopez still has a relationship with your ex-husband?
They're on again, off again. This all happened. He invited us over because they broke up. He invited us over for dinner and to explain to them that he would be moving in with his mother and would have his visits there. And they've broken up at least 3 times that I know for sure in the last 6 months from moving in. And I think amongst the crazy, that the instability of on again, off again is just not healthy.
And Ms. Lopez.
Yes, Your Honor. First of all, I haven't been served yet. I heard through the grapevine that there was going to be this hearing since Nicole was bragging to family members that she was taking me to court. So I did pull up the statement online, and I do have text messages and things that I would like to present to you. That's why I came into person to see if I could present that to you today. Because as Nicole does state, Dayton and I do live together. We do have the kids 50% of the time. She's refusing to let him see the children unless they're supervised or at his mother's house. And she's forcing him to, I believe with everything that I present to you, you're going to see that she's just using this because she does not like me and she doesn't like our relationship. Nicole, at the beginning of our relationship, she was having an ongoing affair with Dayton. So there is that back and forth with us. By no means did I ever try to scare Nicole or her children. I'm very sorry that you felt that way. I've apologized to her children personally. I just wanted to verify I was on the phone with Dayton when I pulled up. And I said, "Is Nicole leaving your house?" He said, "Yes, the kids are in the car." He was on the phone with me while I pulled up behind them to verify that the children were in the car, that it was just not another incident of him cheating again. So I would like to be able to present what I have to you today so that we can make sure that I don't have a judgment against the children that do live with us 50% of the time.
And the custodial order, Ms. Wakefield, came from Thurston County Family Court, is that correct?
Me and Dayton Minor have a verbal agreement because we have always tried to keep it kosher. I would like to add on to her statement that
Okay, yeah, hold on, right now, I just
okay.
want to sort through some of this.
Yep.
So
verbal,
is there a divorce?
verbal agreement.
Has there been a divorce?
We were never legally married, sir. I'm also here. I'm the support for Janaea Lopez. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, hold tight. I'm going to ask Ms. Wakefield some questions. And what's your ex-husband's name, Ms. Wakefield?
Dayton Minor.
Okay, thank you. And have you been divorced?
We were never legally married. We were together 14 years. Our marriage ended when I found out about him and Janaea Lopez.
Okay, so there wasn't a marriage. You've not had a formal divorce.
No.
Okay, so you were partners. You're not partners any longer. As far as custodial status, two of you came to an agreement, but there is no court order.
Correct.
Okay. And did you happen to discuss this with Judge Meyer when you were before Judge Meyer getting a temporary order?
No, at that time they were broken up and he had agreed, he was living with his mother and he was going to have the visits there. The children voiced they didn't want to be around her. They didn't want to be involved with her. He said, that's no issue because I'm living here. We are broken up and now they're back together and now it's where we are.
Thank you. Okay, so first of all, Ms. Lopez has correctly indicated she has not formally been served.
Yes, my servicer attempted 7 times. Nobody came to the door until the last time somebody did answer, slammed it and locked it in their face. So I've tried to serve her.
Okay.
Your Honor, that's
Okay,
also. we
yeah,
have in the
yeah,
door.
hold on.
Okay.
Service is it's a legal obligation, and until it's formally complete, we can't do much unless service is waived. Now, Ms. Lopez is sitting before the court. So we have 2 options, and most in this regard, Ms. Lopez says the say. Ms. Lopez, we can proceed today, and I can hear further from you if you wish, and or you are entitled to be formally served. We'll make sure you get a copy of everything that's been filed and reset this if you wish, with today having been the service date, and put it on next Monday, or we can proceed today, and that's your call since you haven't formally been served.
I appreciate that, Your Honor. I would like to know if today I could submit the multiple text messages that I have from her and from her children, and also that Dayton can speak on my behalf. That's what I would like to have. I don't know if that's something that we can do. I also am very concerned of pushing this out, that again, this extends, Dayton not being able to see his children and bringing them to our home.
Okay, so I will let you tell me what you have on your
Sure.
phone, but I'm going to sort of limit the topical area. And then the issue of the children is going to be a bit more problematic, and I'm going to have to address that in a different way. But we can address all those issues today, and I can hear from Mr. Meyer if that becomes important.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
Right now, I'll just let you know what I want you to focus on are any messages or any comments you have that are directly related to the relationship that you have with Ms. Wakefield, not the children. Take the children out of it. So
Okay.
just any comments back and forth. Ms. Wakefield has said she was concerned by you following her in the truck, and she was also concerned about derogatory language you sent to her in a text, and the fact that you shared a sex tape with Ms. Wakefield's friend. So those are the things I want to talk about.
Okay.
So any comments or texts, and don't show them to me. I want you to say them out loud. So
Yes, sir.
because Ms. Wakefield's not here and she has to be able to know what I'm hearing.
I understand.
Okay.
So what was the first one you wanted me to address on?
It just is the relationship. All
The
we're talking about
relationship?
is you and Ms. Wakefield.
Yes. Nicole and my relationship started probably a couple of years ago in October, 2 years ago. I was in a relationship with a gentleman. We decided to have a couple swap. So that's how I met Nicole, and that's how I met Dayton. From that moment on, him and I pursued a relationship. He ended up leaving Nicole so that we could be together. During that time that he and him were in a relationship, a very public relationship, I do have messages from Nicole where she messages me that I've been sleeping with him the whole time, bitch. I thought that he would just come back to me, just very aware that him and I were in a relationship and that they were having an affair. Her and I have both exchanged text messages and words. That one that she is referring to, I sent to her current boyfriend at the time. It was not her friend, letting her boyfriend know that she had been sleeping with Dayton. And that's what she is referring to. And then I also have quite a few messages in regards to the children where I speak with her and I say, well, she claims that I've screamed at the children before and I.
Okay, let's leave the children out.
Okay, you're right. Sorry about that, sir. Let's see what other ones I have here. I have quite a bit. There's also been times where Nicole talks, sends messages as to Dayton, just talking badly about me, talking about how she didn't recognize me at the family event, and neither did her friends recognize me at the family event because of how ugly I look. She's also made sure to talk. He has a huge family. He has 14 brothers and sisters. He's the baby of the family. Nicole still comes to all of the family events. I'm very nice to Nicole. I'm very sweet with her. I have messages where she says, don't say hi to me. I don't like you. I also have messages from her where she tells Dayton that if I come to these family events, I'll catch hands or she's going to hurt me. And I very clearly think that what she's doing is she doesn't like me and she's using the children at this point in time to get a no contact order when I've never tried to harm or never have I put any threats to Nicole, but I do have text messages of her clearly saying that she does want to fight me or put hands on me, Your Honor. So I do have those available. But never once have I stalked or threatened Nicole in any manner.
Okay. And what's the sex tape issue?
It was a video of all of us together.
And you sent that to whom?
To her boyfriend at the time. It was on Facebook. I CC'd her and the boyfriend. And that was so long ago. I've apologized and we've moved past that. But apparently she's still holding on to that.
All right, Ms. Lopez,
Yes,
or pardon me, Ms. Wakefield, do you have anything more you want to add?
Well, I would like to say, well, I don't know what she has as evidence, but I know hers and I's first correspondence when we both found out about each other back in July of last year was not me threatening her. I never told her I was sleeping with Dayton until she told me about Florida and him sleeping with her when I was in surgery, things that I didn't know. And I shared the information that I had. It was never threatening her. In response to saying that she can catch these hands, I did at one point, I will admit, saying that to my ex-husband in reference to her screaming at my children and then telling or saying in the presence of my children that I'm a cunt fucking bitch and that Dayton needs to put me in check. I was livid that she was yelling at my children, and I was livid that she was bad mouthing me in front of them. I did tell her that I don't like her and to please not talk to me because I think that's fair because I don't like her. I didn't want to bring the kids into it. I didn't even want to be here. I don't like doing these things. I think that things should be handled outside of court, but when it comes to a point that you put me and my children in danger, I don't know what else to do because regardless of the reasoning, that's what happened is my children and me were put in danger so that she could see who was in my car. And it's not just me saying that, it's all three of my children who were in the car and seen her almost hit us. I couldn't even brake or she would have smashed my back end of my car. That is insane. Between her treating my kids, screaming at them, having no boundaries, touching them inappropriately, having
Yeah, Ms.
inappropriate
Wakefield.
conversations.
I'm going to say the same thing to you that I said to Ms. Lopez. At this
Okay,
point,
between
the
me and
issues
her.
with the children are not for the court.
Okay. So between her and I, that is all I have to say in regards to that. It was not, me and hers conversations and interactions were not negative until she wrote me those hate messages in January. And at that point, I said, I want nothing to do with you.
Okay, when was the last time you received a text message from Ms. Lopez or any other message?
The last time that I received a message from Miss Lopez was after she screamed at my child and called me a cunt fucking bitch in front of them, which was August, maybe. She's blocked on everything now.
So she hasn't contacted you since August, and at that time she contacted you because she had heard from you, or why did she
No.
contact?
She contacted me to say that we should be able to get along. We should be able to co-parent. And at that point, I said, I don't like you. I don't need to be involved with you at all. Me and you need to have no communication. Don't scream at my children. Don't call me horrible names in front of them, and we'll be fine. And I'll co-parent with Dayton. And that was it. And then, everything else has been through the grapevine of my children because they've had to be around her. My 13-year-old has a therapy team that she expresses all of these things to as well. So since that correspondence, after that incident, everything has been through my children or through Dayton until she almost hit us.
And that incident with the truck that occurred back in September, have there been any other incidents like that?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so Ms. Lopez,
Yes, Your Honor.
speak to me about what your thought process was when you were following Ms. Wakefield's car.
Absolutely. So first of all, Your Honor, I was not following Miss Wakefield's car. Dayton and I had my 2 children in the car also. My daughter Avea, and who's 12, and my 6-year-old daughter Monet. We were going out grocery shopping. I knew Dayton didn't have food, so I drove by there to drop him off food. As I was entering, Nicole was pulling out. So I turned the car around. I called Dayton and I asked him why Nicole was leaving, because the last time Nicole was leaving his house, that's when I found out that they were cheating at that time. So he verified. He said she just came to watch a movie with the kids. The kids are in the car. The kids are in the car. I didn't cheat on you. So I did pull up behind Nicole. I did not come in an aggressive manner. I did honk the horn so that she could stop the vehicle so I could see if the kids were in the vehicle. She did stop the vehicle. She turned left. I turned right. That was the incident in the car. I have never stalked her or threatened her. I also did want to bring up that those messages where she claims that she didn't. I have a message here where she says, I fucked him at least once a time the whole week. And you're a dirty bitch. That's one here. And then I also have all of the messages here to where she says that I screamed at her child and our conversation. What happened there, Your Honor, is Brooklyn, her daughter, tends to steal things from both Nicole and myself. I found some Versace perfume that Brooklyn had stolen, and some cologne that she'd stolen from her dad. So we had put it up, and I worked downstairs. All 5 of the kids were there. I was working downstairs.
Okay.
And
We don't need to get into the
okay.
children.
I just want to clarify that screaming. And then I do have all those messages from our last contact that she refers to. And then I have also on the 11th, due to the threatening text messages that she sent to Dayton, I am filing also a no harassment order against her that will be held on the 11th. And I think that clearly what she's doing is she's just trying to separate me. I have not caused her any harm. I do not send her threatening messages. I do not stalk her. I think this is just a matter of her trying to take control. I have messages from her telling Dayton that the kids are not allowed to come around me. She has to keep him at the house. And her son, Tomas, just said that he does want to come home. And he has those messages to his fathers that he misses his room. And just Brooklyn, she goes by Vivian, just called him yesterday and argued with him yesterday because she does not want to stay at her grandma's house. So those are the things that I wanted to make sure that you heard from me.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And Mr. Meyer, I have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you and Ms. Lopez currently reside together?
We absolutely do.
Okay, thank you. And you are the father of the 3 children that Ms. Wakefield was just talking about.
That is correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's deal with the children issue first. This court does not have jurisdiction to decide who gets to see the children and under what terms. That's an issue for family court. So I cannot address that issue raised by Ms. Wakefield about her concern about the children and their contact with Ms. Lopez. Ms. Wakefield, if you want to address that, you're going to have to deal with that through an order at family court. So if that's what you want to do, you're going to have to go to speak with them about that.
Yes, Your Honor.
I do have jurisdiction over the relationship between Ms. Wakefield and Ms. Lopez. In this case, the allegations are a quite derogatory message sent back in January, and then the concern that Ms. Wakefield had about Ms. Lopez following Ms. Wakefield. Ms. Wakefield believes it was done aggressively. Ms. Lopez denies that. Ms. Lopez says she was doing it to see if in fact the children were in the car, or whether Ms. Wakefield had been at Mr. Meyer's house for other purposes. And this has occurred on one occasion. Nobody's indicated that this is any sort of pattern or routine. I also note that Ms. Lopez has shared with the court, and Ms. Wakefield has heard these messages that Ms. Wakefield sent to Ms. Lopez that are also derogatory. As to the issue of the relationship between the two of you, it's clear that neither one of you wants to have contact with the other, and you each have shared derogatory messages back and forth. I don't find that a basis for me to enter the order in this case, nor do I find the truck incident sufficient enough for me to enter an order. It was explained. There's a different view of it. It was inappropriate. I don't think that Ms. Lopez should ever repeat that type of behavior.
Yes, sir.
Where you put children in between 2 adults trying to figure out whether somebody was sleeping with somebody else. That's wholly inappropriate for any adult to do, to subject these poor children to the tension that exists here. But it is not a subject that I can address in this order, and I will not do so. So I'm going to deny Ms. Wakefield's request for protection order in this case. I will make clear that I would urge both parties to understand that neither one wants contact from the other and should honor that and go forward in that way. I don't have the order for, apparently there's an order to be heard.
Yes, sir.
You may want to reconsider that, Ms. Lopez, with the understanding that what I've just said, that
Okay.
I don't think there's enough here for a court to enter an order concerning the relationship between the two. But I really urge the two of you, Ms. Wakefield and Ms. Lopez, to just stop contacting each other. If Ms. Wakefield, if you have concerns about Ms. Lopez's contact with your children, you're going to have to address that through family court and potentially getting an order there concerning custodial status. And they're not your children, Ms. Lopez, so you don't have any ability to go to family court and seek such an order. Mr. Meyer does if he wishes, but you don't. So hopefully that puts to rest the issues raised in this case. I have signed an order to this effect, and since Ms. Lopez is present in the court, we'll make a copy of it and give her a copy. And then Ms. Wakefield, you can always access the copy through your district court file if you wish.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your time, Your Honor.
Thank you.